You know how they say orange is the new black? Well, general practice jobs became the new black in the world of pharmacy in the last few years. And as of 2 years ago, it was the actual rave of every pharmacist. I feel like a lot of pharmacists were stuck in between your typical conventional community pharmacy or hospital pharmacy role. And when these roles opened up, it became so amazing that many people wanted to get into it. Well, it was something I looked up to as well, but I never fully delved into it. But I did have some experience in general practice. But let me give you some tips and some tricks as to how to get yourself into general practice. So I'm going to be reading this article that I saw on Chemist and Druggist. I was so excited when I stumbled on it because I was like, oh, someone is giving us the tea, how we're getting into general practice. Like, okay, this is good because I feel like there's a lot of gatekeeping sometimes in the world of pharmacy, that you want some information about how to do something or how someone did something and you can't find it anywhere, which is one of the reasons why I'm out here sharing my experiences. So we're going to be reading this article that this lady has written on Chemist and Druggist. I'll go into the nitty-gritty. So when I read it at first, I was like, okay girl, okay, give us the tea, give us the gist. But by the time I got to the end of it, I was like, okay, you've only just given us like half of it. Where is the rest of it? Where's the rest of the information? I am going to be giving you the rest of the information from my experience, what worked for me and what I know has worked for so many other people that I know. So stick to this video if you want to know how to convert from conventional community or hospital practice to working in general practice or even in another clinical community setting, which is what I am doing. So yes, keep watching this video to find out everything that I have to share. So I'm going to be reading the Chemist and Druggist article from my laptop. Let's get straight into it so we're not rambling on for too long. So this article was by Shilpa Patel. Hello, Shilpa. Thank you for giving us some of the tea. How are you? So Shilpa seems to be someone who is experienced. She has been in general practice and I think she's been there for quite some time because she gave an experience of how she handled her interview somewhere on this. So I'm going to be leaving screenshots of this on the page because I feel like you might want to read the entirety of it. Normally when I'm reading Chemist and Druggist articles, I only leave like bits and pieces here and there. But I think I will do well to leave you as much screenshots as possible, perhaps towards the end of this video. So just stay tuned and keep watching. Her name is Shilpa Patel. And she says, when I reminisce about the experience of my first GP pharmacist interview many years ago. So I think she's mainly talking to us about how to pass the interview, which is all well and good if you have already secured an interview. My question is, like, how do you even get to the point where you secure an interview? Because I know a lot of GP practices at the moment will be looking for someone with some level of experience. So for someone who is coming from hospital community who has absolutely no experience in GP practice, how do you even secure an interview? Like, people are looking at your CV and just sliding it past. How do you secure an interview? And I know that nowadays a lot of us, especially female pharmacists, are looking for flexibility, and working with a GP practice as well as a PCN is one of the ways that you can get flexibilities because they offer remote working opportunities. So yes, I think this video is going to hopefully be very, very, very beneficial to us all. So yeah, she was reminiscing about her first GP practice experience and her interview, and she can recall the excitement as she embarked on the new chapter of her professional journey. Good for you, girl. Over the past 9 years, okay, so she's been working with them for 9 years, I have left no stone unturned in my quest to acquire a comprehensive understanding of the inner workings of GP practices. So with so many pharmacists making the move into primary care, I thought I'd share some advice on how to prepare for a general practice interview. A successful interview not only provides you with an opportunity to showcase your skills and knowledge, but also paves the way for a rewarding career in general practice pharmacy, which I absolutely agree with, right? So she goes on to now lay out the different tips that she has, which were done in 3 sections. So the first section she shared was to prepare for success. And she says the key to excelling in any job interview starts with thorough preparation. Prior to your interview, it's crucial to research the GP practice that you're applying to. Familiarize yourself with the team's values, which is very core. I think that's core for any job that you're even applying to at all, not just GP practice. So she says, with the team's values, missions, and any recent developments or projects that they have undertaken by looking at the practice's website and social media accounts. This knowledge will help you understand the team's expectations and also demonstrate your genuine interest in working with them. And I think this is a no-brainer, right? You will do this for any interview that you are preparing for, as long as you know what you're doing, right? So she wants you to stay well versed with current trends and issues in general practice pharmacy, stay updated with the latest guidance, as well as regulations and advancements in the field. And I think this is quite an easy thing to do, because a lot of us already have to stay up to date with trends and things, because if you're especially in community pharmacy, you need to know what's happening in GP, because you work like almost like hand in hand with GP practices, and when things change, when you speak to them, they let you know what's changing. So we sort of have this knowledge already, but I would also still advise you go out there and do a little bit more research, especially to tailor things to whatever GP practice it is that you are thinking of applying to. So yes, she's very, very right on this point, but let's get straight into the rest of them. The second point that she raised was that you need to do your research, which I think sort of overlaps with the first one. So she says to understand local targets by researching. Okay, so the first one, she was probably focusing more on the GP practice, right? So here she's saying understand local targets by researching the local ICB prescribing policies, and ICB means integrated local integrated care board. And understand their agenda by getting in touch, by getting in contact via their website or by connecting with local networks. Read the Care Quality Commission report of the general practice you're applying to. This will provide you into valuable insights for areas where the practice may require support and development. And I think this is really key, because anyone who's going to be hiring you wants to know that you are coming to support and help to develop their practice, right? So it's good to do your research, understand this, and once you can demonstrate that you know what they're struggling with and you can bring valuable skills that would help them in the right direction with those things, then I'm sure they'll be ready to like snap you up just like that without even thinking too much. So this is definitely very, very key. So she goes on about more things that you would need to know, and she goes into more depth about the things that the surgeries might be struggling with. Like, for example, they might need to have a review of their vitamin and minerals prescribing, or an opportunity to optimize cardiac prevention strategies. By addressing these areas of improvement during interview process, you can demonstrate your keen interest and valuable insights to the interviewer, which I think is absolutely brilliant, right? So she has given us something really, really valuable here. You want to know where this practice is struggling with their work. So the next thing that she said, there's a bit more on the second topic, and like I said, I will share it all at the end of this video, just so that you can take the time to read it by yourself and just gain a bit more insight. So the last thing that she speaks about is to demonstrate your knowledge. Now, I think this again you will do in any interview, but let's read a little bit about what she's talking about here. So being a general practice pharmacist requires a diverse skill set to meet the challenges of a primary care setting. Skills that interviewers commonly look for include strong verbal and written communication skills, commitment to providing patient-centered care, problem solving, and being able to collaborate with multiple healthcare professionals to deliver comprehensive care. Now, a good majority of this, I feel like in your previous work settings, you probably have already gained valuable experience that you can bring to the table. So as she's listed them like this, and if you are in the process of thinking of picking up a general practice job, just list this down and give real life examples of how you have managed to demonstrate these skills, and just have them ready for when you need to pull them up, because it would really show your competence. So the next thing she said is to evaluate the competency and approach towards patient care. Interviews for GP practice role may include clinical scenarios, so you need to make sure your clinical skills are well brushed up. Now, I know this one will not be hard for my hospital pharmacist people, but community pharmacists, especially if you've been there for quite a while and you've not done any like further training and stuff, it might be a bit tricky. So I would say do a little bit of studying before you go into this exam, because they might be picking your brains. And do not be afraid, right? When you get into the interview, and this is my own nugget, I'm adding it to what she said, but I'm still going to tell you guys a bit more that I feel like is not even mentioned at all here. But let me add this to what she said, right? Do not be afraid at any point if they give you a question, and this is something that I used in my own interview for my current job role. If they give you a question that you don't have the answer to, a clinical skills question, do not be afraid to mention that you do not know the answer, but you will look it up and ask for advice from, people who should have more experience than you. So for example, what's the mode of action of so drug? I don't currently remember that. Be honest, because honesty is a value that they are looking out for. I don't currently remember that. However, I would look for my BNF in the scenario and double check to make sure that I have the correct answer, rather than saying something off the top of my head that is not right. So you let them know that you know where to reference when you come across like difficult questions or anything that you think, you know what, I don't know the answer to this. Do not appear scared. This is one key skill that a healthcare professional needs to have. You do not need to appear scared or like you don't know what you're doing. You can't have everything in your brain all the time. You just need to know the resources that you need to refer to at every point in time. So do not be afraid in your interview to say, actually, at the moment, I don't remember that. However, if I was in a situation where I needed this information, I will look in so resource. Does that make sense? Right, so you would be expected to demonstrate your knowledge of appropriate over-the-counter treatment and provide advice on symptom management, which I'm pretty sure my community pharmacists here will be well versed with. If you aren't, there's so many over-the-counter books that you can purchase and just familiarize yourself with. And the good thing is that over-the-counter treatments and recommendations and remedies change very frequently, because the regulations change quite frequently on them. So you need to actually update yourself quite regularly, especially if you do not work in community pharmacy. So the one that you learned while you were at university might not be appropriate as of right now. So if you're looking to apply to a job like this, you might want to make sure you get yourself a new, fresh, OTC recommendations book and just study it from cover to cover and get yourself well versed. All right, so Shilpa, I don't know if I'm saying her name right, ended her article saying, remember to be confident, yes, professional, absolutely, and passionate about your desire to contribute to general practice pharmacy. With careful preparation and a solid understanding of the key aspects, you can excel in your interview and pave the way for a successful career as a general practice pharmacist. So Shilpa is currently the lead prescribing pharmacist and a GP partner. Oh, girl has done very well for herself, and I'm so proud of you, Shilpa. And thank you for giving us these tips. But let's get into what I have to share, okay? So I am very happy with what Shilpa has shared with us here, right? But I think there are some things that are not being said. So I'm going to give you guys all the tea about what I think. So before you get to this point of interview, how do you even get yourself into the interview? Because it's a struggle. Lots of people are applying and are not even getting interviews because they do not have the relevant experience. Now, let me give you the gist on how I managed to secure myself a position in general practice, because I actually did. And I know other people who have as well. So let's get into it. So the first tip that I will add to what Shilpa has shared with us today is build meaningful links build meaningful relationships. So as you are going to work in community, you work at least within a few miles from 1, 2, or 3 GP practices. Give them a phone call if you have any patient queries. Even if you don't have any patient queries, you can give them a phone call and ask, just random questions that you're not wasting their time, obviously, but meaningful things. You're trying to build a relationship. If you work regularly in one pharmacy, there's nothing too much in asking or actually taking chocolates to the GP surgeries. Maybe at Christmas, or if there's any special occasion, write them a little thank you note for working well with you. Let them know you, bring out your relationship building skills, because you might be needing someone in there at some point, or you might even be trying to get a job in that practice. But yeah, build relationships. Don't be a pharmacist who would not build links with people. Speak to people, be friendly. If you have queries, speak to the GPs, pull out a banter or two here and there. Say something that will make sure that you are memorable to them. That when they see your name in future, they'll be like, oh, I know that pharmacist. That person is brilliant. Oh, I actually like them so much, and I enjoy speaking to them. I enjoy working with them, and I've had conversations with them, though I don't know too much about them. But actually, there's something in my mind about them that I feel like they will be good. All right? Because you never know where these people will be when decisions are being made about you, or you potentially getting a job. So don't be timid, don't be shy, get out there and build relationships. And if you're not even speaking to GP practices near you, go to networking events, go to meetings, go to all these clinical skills sessions that are actually held face to face. That way you can actually meet people who actually work in the pharmacy, or in the GP practice rather, and you can share contact information, start speaking to them, start picking their brains, start asking questions, because all of these things will help you. Because in as much as you can use your intellect and your interview skills to get into a job, there's also something to be said for building links and relationships with getting your foot in the door in the first place. The second thing I'm going to say is to be bold and audacious. Okay, you've built links, but you're too shy to let them know that you are considering looking for a job in general practice. Who you at? How's that going to help you? If you want something, you have to open your mouth. And that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned in this country, because I don't know why, I've only just learned it since I've been in the UK, but I have learned it, and I've learned it well. You have to open your mouth and you have to speak up. So in my experience, I worked with a manager who had really good links with general practice, and I spoke to her and I kept pestering her, and I was like, look, I need a DMP in this surgery. I need you to speak to someone for me. I need you to speak to someone for me. And I sent a letter to the surgery, and I sent a letter to their directors, and I sent a letter to their doctors. Speak up, put your foot in the door, actually make the first move, because if you don't, no one is going to come and serve you food on your table. You have to go and get it by yourself. So if you really want to have these opportunities, you need to actually go out there and seek them, because the truth is that competition is actually really peak right now. So if you don't make yourself stand out by being bold and audacious, by requesting these things, then nobody is going to look at you, because there's lots of other people doing it. Okay, and these are the things that no one is telling you about. And the last and final tip from me is that you need to demonstrate your willingness to learn. Now, if you're looking to go into general practice, because it is a new setting, general practice and PCN are probably very new in the last few years, have only just come up, and lots of people do not know much about it. And in as much as you can demonstrate your clinical skills, all the skills that Shilpa listed in this her article, you have to show that in as much as you don't know exactly how this structure works, there is a willingness within you to learn, to pick up new things, there's an excitement for you going into a new field, and you actually want to experience something different. You need to show that enthusiasm that you're about to go into something new, and you have a willingness and an ability to learn quickly, learn on the job. You can learn fast, you can learn. If there's anything they ask for and you don't already have that skill, demonstrate that, within a few weeks, I'm pretty pretty sure I would pick up on these, and I will make sure that I work at the best of my ability, and I will do these things, and you will be actually amazed at the fact that I've learned very quickly how to, you know, work with your team, how to do the things that you do, how to do XYZ. Just, you know, show a level of enthusiasm that makes this person think, wow, this person is going to come into this job and know more than all of us in the next 2 weeks. That's the kind of vibe and energy you want to give, whether you're speaking to an interviewer or you're just chatting with a colleague or someone you've networked with and you feel like they can put in a word for you when you need to get that job. I know I'm sounding very preachy right now, but I've just got to let you guys know that you have to take the bull by the horns, okay? You can't just sit around and expect the job to fall in your laps. You'd be sending out your CVs, you'd be sending out job applications and applications and applications and applications and applications, and nothing is happening. Girl, sit down and watch this video back to front to back, and I promise you that at some point something will change as long as you apply every single thing that has been mentioned in this video. All right, anyways, thank you guys so much for stopping by my channel and watching this video today. If you've liked this video, please leave a thumbs up or drop a comment in the comment section, and make sure to come back and watch my other videos. If you're new to my channel, subscribe. All right, enjoy the rest of your day, guys. I will catch you in my next video. Bye.